Sleeping with your phone. We all do it, keeping our phone right next to us at night or even under the pillow. It feels convenient, it's your alarm after all, and maybe a little comforting to have that last scroll before bed. But sleeping with your phone is quietly messing with your mind. The screen's blue light tricks your brain into daytime mode, blocking the melatonin you need for good sleep. Plus, every buzz or the temptation to check notifications keeps your brain on high alert when it should be winding down. The result? You get shallow, restless sleep and wake up tired and edgy. Over time, this habit can ramp up your anxiety and even low mood, because poor sleep is a known culprit behind irritability, stress, and depression. So that harmless phone by your bed is secretly an all-night stress machine for your brain, always having background noise. Do you turn on the TV or music even when you're not really watching or listening, just to have some noise in the room? It might feel less lonely or too quiet otherwise, right? Unfortunately, constant background noise can keep your brain in a subtle state of stress. Our brains never totally tune out sound. That harmless background TV, podcast, or music means your mind is constantly processing stimuli and never truly at rest. Studies show that chronic noise, even at low levels, triggers your body's fight-or-flight response, pumping out stress hormones like cortisol. You might notice you feel on edge or find it hard to concentrate, and you wouldn't even think to blame the always-on noise. In the long run, this habit can contribute to anxiety and mental fatigue. Silence may feel weird at first, but your brain craves that downtime to recharge and relax. Constant busyness. In today's hustle culture, being constantly busy seems like a badge of honor. You pack your schedule, juggle work, side projects, social events. You might even feel guilty or restless when you're not doing something. It seems harmless, after all you're being productive, but endless busyness is quietly burning you out. By never giving yourself a break, you keep your body's stress switch flipped on high. You might not notice the damage day to day, but chronically elevated stress can lead to anxiety, insomnia, and eventually emotional exhaustion. Many people use busyness as a distraction from painful feelings or problems, but those feelings don't go away. They just pile up in the background. The constant go leaves you with no time to process emotions or truly relax, which can result in irritability, sudden bouts of sadness, or feeling empty once you finally slow down. In short, treating downtime like it's wasted time is a fast track to mental burnout. Never expressing anger. Maybe you pride yourself on never getting angry. You always let it go to keep the peace, thinking that's more mature or kind. But bottling up anger is far from harmless. It's quietly corroding your mental well-being. Anger is a normal emotion, and if you constantly swallow it, it doesn't disappear. Instead, that unexpressed anger often turns inward as stress or even depression. You might become overly anxious since you've trained yourself to fear any confrontation or negative emotion. Or it leaks out in sneaky ways like passive-aggressive comments, resentment, or random bursts of irritability that surprise even you. Over time, suppressing anger can make you feel powerless or chronically tense. Some psychologists even say depression can be anger directed at oneself. By never allowing yourself to express legitimate anger or frustration, you're essentially ignoring your own needs and feelings, which feeds a quiet sense of unhappiness. Speaking up in healthy ways isn't just okay, it's necessary for your mental health. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Scrolling through social media or looking around at friends, it's easy to slip into comparing mode. Her life looks so fun. He's got a better job, car, house, or even they seem happier than me. We do this almost automatically and assume it's harmless or even motivating. But constant comparison is a one-way ticket to low self-esteem and anxiety. Why? You're measuring yourself against an often unrealistic highlight reel of others. It makes you feel like you're perpetually not enough, not successful enough, not attractive enough, not living life as fully as everyone else. Instead of gratitude for what you have, you cultivate dissatisfaction. This habit can quietly breed depression because you conclude you're falling short, and social anxiety because you worry about how you measure up. It also fuels envy and resentment, which further sour your mood. Remember, people usually show the best 5% of their lives publicly. Comparing your 100% reality to that curated 5% will never be a fair fight, and it's your mental health that takes the punch. Toxic positivity. Always good vibes only. Keeping a positive outlook is generally a good thing, but forcing positivity 24/7, to the point of denying any negative feelings, is not as healthy as it seems. If you're the good vibes only person who never admits to feeling down, angry, or scared, you might think you're being strong or helpful. In truth, you're practicing what's known as toxic positivity, and it quietly harms your mental health. By refusing to acknowledge anything but happiness, you end up suppressing your real emotions. Those bad feelings like sadness, frustration, or grief don't actually vanish because you ignore them. They go unaddressed and fester. You may start feeling guilt or shame anytime you're not upbeat, as if you're failing just for being human. This creates a cycle of internal pressure and stress. You also risk isolating yourself. If you never admit when you're struggling, you won't seek support and others might think you don't need any. Ultimately, hiding behind a constant smile can make things worse. Anxiety, depression, and a sense of loneliness grow behind that forced grin. Real mental health comes from embracing all emotions, not just the happy ones. Multitasking all the time, watching TV while texting a friend and checking work emails every few minutes, sound familiar? Multitasking is a modern habit that feels necessary and harmless, even virtuous. Look how much I can do at once. But our brains are not wired to handle multiple streams of information at the same time without a cost. If you're constantly multitasking, you're likely quietly draining your mental energy and increasing your stress. Juggling tasks forces your brain to rapidly switch focus, which actually makes you less efficient and more prone to mistakes. Ever notice how after a day of doing 10 things at once you feel mentally fried? That's the toll it takes on your brain. Chronic multitasking can make it harder to concentrate on one thing even when you want to. Your mind gets used to being scattered. Research even shows heavy multitaskers have worse memory and focus than those who do one thing at a time. Plus, living in a state of split attention can feed anxiety. You always feel a bit behind or worried you're missing something. What seems like a harmless productivity hack is actually a recipe for heightened stress and a frazzled mind. Doomscrolling. It's late at night, you're alone with your thoughts, and you do what so many of us do. Whip out your phone and start scrolling through the news or social media feed. You tell yourself it's just to stay informed or to wind down, but an hour later you're neck deep in alarming news headlines, tragic stories, and online drama. This is doomscrolling, and it's quietly chipping away at your mental health. Humans have a negativity bias. We pay more attention to bad news, and the internet happily serves up an endless supply. That harmless nightly scroll can flood your brain with stress and sadness. You might notice after doomscrolling that you feel more anxious, upset, or helpless about the world, but you might not connect it to the habit itself. In reality, consuming a high volume of negative news in one sitting amplifies anxiety and feeds a bleak outlook. It can even disturb your sleep. Your mind stays wired and worried after all that bad news. Over time, doomscrolling regularly can contribute to chronic anxiety, a sense of constant dread, or a numb exhaustion with everything. It tricks you into thinking you're being responsible by knowing what's going on, but there's nothing responsible about overloading your psyche with despair every day. Never getting any sunlight, staying indoors, all day. You might think there's nothing wrong with spending most of your time indoors. Maybe you work from home. Relax with indoor hobbies and you're comfy in your own space. But rarely stepping outside is quietly doing a number on your mental well-being. Sunlight isn't just for tans. It triggers your brain to release serotonin, a key hormone for feeling calm and happy. If you stay inside all day, especially in dim light, your brain's internal clock can get thrown off. You may start feeling sluggish in the daytime and then wired or unable to sleep at night. Ever wonder why you're exhausted but can't sleep after a day with no fresh air? Lack of natural light is a big reason people experience seasonal depression in the darker months. Our mood literally drops when we don't get enough sun. On top of that, staying cooped up means you're probably missing out on other mood boosters like a bit of exercise, a change of scenery, and simple contact with nature. Studies have found that spending time outside reduces stress and anxiety, so if you skip it, you lose that built-in therapy. Over time, an indoor-only lifestyle can lead to creeping anxiety, gloomier moods, and a sense of isolation, even if you don't immediately see the connection. Too much caffeine. That daily cup or 3 of coffee might feel like a lifesaver, but excessive caffeine could be quietly wrecking your nerves. Caffeine is a stimulant. It revs up your central nervous system, which feels great when you're groggy and need a boost. The problem is, in large doses, your body's amped-up state isn't far off from anxiety. Your heart beats faster, you might get the jitters or sweat a bit, your mind races. Sound familiar? Those are symptoms of anxiety, and caffeine can provoke them or make them worse. Many people don't realize that their midday panic or constant feeling of tension is aggravated by all the coffee or energy drinks they consume. If you're already a bit stressed, caffeine is like throwing fuel on the fire, intensifying that restlessness. And let's not forget caffeine's effect on sleep. Drink too much or too late in the day, and you might sleep poorly or not long enough. That lack of quality sleep then increases your anxiety and irritability the next day, creating a vicious cycle. So while a little caffeine can sharpen your focus, too much turns into a sneaky saboteur of your calm, keeping you in a quiet state of fight or flight. It's a harmless habit that might be amplifying your anxiety more than you think.